welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Vintage at the request of Patreon subscriber Steven. And what I have for you is Vintage Scam. Steven competed at the NYSE Open playing a Golgari Scam deck. Steven is one of those mono black gamers, loves a Dark Ritual, loves a Thoughtseize, hates Force of Will. We all have those guys in our lives, and we gotta respect it. Steven asked me to take his list from NYSE and improve upon it. The stipulation was I'm not allowed to play Force of Will, basically. What I've done here is tried to recreate the Legacy Reanimator experience while respecting what Vintage is about and play powerful Vintage cards. To get ahead of the experts in the comments, yes, I know Legacy Reanimator is already a Vintage deck. There is a blue-black Dimir version that's already fully functional in the format. Yes, I also know that Bug is an established Vintage archetype, and I'm just getting way ahead of it and saying that's not what we're doing. We've intentionally tried to come up with something that is a little different than decks that already exist, while obviously pulling from those because the pool of cards that are playable in Vintage is pretty small compared to the pool of cards that is legal. So what we got here is Grief and Thoughtseize as early interaction. 2 Null Rods right here in the main deck. That can mess with a lot of decks on its own. We can reanimate Grief for the full scam situation. We've got Dark Ritual to do things like Thoughtseize plus Dauthi Voidwalker, kicking the game off. Deathrite Shaman is an excellent mana engine in the format, as well as a meaningful disruption engine and a meaningful clock. This one's not legal in Legacy. There is 1 copy of Atraxa Grand Unifier, and 1 Entomb, and 2 ways to tutor the Entomb, in case we find ourselves in a situation to do that. If we draw the Atraxa, there's 4 Psychic Frogs and 3 Thoughtseizes that can get it into the graveyard from our hand. Troll of Khazad-dûm, part of the mana base, and a Reanimate payoff. This is a deck that wants to get ahead early and stay there, or at least keep the opponent down in the dirt with powerful hate pieces like Dauthi Voidwalker and Null Rod, while we chip for damage. And then adding Atraxa just gives us this high roll potential, a couple routes to do it, in a deck that was completely fair before building that package in. We got Wastelands, we got Strip Mine, Psychic Frog to draw cards and apply pressure. This is a very fair deck by Vintage standards, trying to be just slightly unfair on the fringes, and trying to stuff unfairness with lock pieces rather than counterspells. And that's what's going on here. Let's see if it works. This is Steven's Bug Reanimator. I'm on the draw in round 1. Obviously the Atraxa is in my hand immediately. I do have a turn 1 Grief, and not even a scam, just literally Grief. I think I have to mulligan this. It just doesn't do enough. If the Grief doesn't work, or if the opponent's on board, or if they counter my Dark Ritual, or if they play a Chalice on 0 or a Sphere of Resistance, I might consider this on the play, but on the draw we're already on 6. Okay, I will keep this one. It also has problems, but it's not the same type of problems. I can Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize, Deathrite Shaman on turn 1. I'm not going to misstep a Preordain. Underground Sea Preordain could be a Psychic Frog deck, could be Doomsday. Either one of those decks will have better 1-drops to counter than that. Ooh, okay. Dark Ritual, Thoughtseize. Then I can decide if Null Rod or Shaman is the better place to go after this. Alright, we've got Flusterstorm, Gush, Thassa's Oracle, Treasure Cruise, definitely Doomsday. What do they do with this Preordain? They bottomed and missed. Okay. Dark Ritual is the card in their hand I can actually interact with. Null Rod does stop Black Lotus from coming out of their Doomsday pile. I could take Flusterstorm, and then my misstep is more likely to work on the Ritual. I could take Treasure Cruise and plan for the super late game. I'm going to take Flusterstorm and then cast Null Rod. Null Rod versus Deathrite there is actually interesting, but there are no lands in the graveyard. and no way for me to put them there. There goes Wraith, Dark Ritual, Mental Misstep. This is the plan we made. Okay. All right, cool. I found a land which turns on this Deathrite Shaman. And Assassin's Trophy is not a blank either. If they make a Doomsday pile, assuming their mana is going to work, especially with Null Rod's help, they might end up in trouble. Brainstorm, pretty good follow-up. We're getting close to this Treasure Cruise, which is pretty devastating. Okay, a Mox Jet, that doesn't work. Love seeing that. I don't have a Surveil land in the deck. I did think about it, but ended up not really having room for it. Would have been good there, though. But what also is good is this Psychic Frog. Insane follow-up to this board state where we're both kind of just chilling. And it resolved. Chipping for 1 damage versus possibly exiling a land. Like, if they fetch, I could exile the land in response to the fetch, and it could slow down Treasure Cruise. I just don't think that 1 damage is worth the possibility of getting Ancestral Recall this turn. Chain of Vapor, Null Rod. Okay, maybe we just lose. That works too. Alright. Chain of Vapor resolves. That happened in the upkeep. Vamp Tutor. Alright. Maybe we're dead. It doesn't look good. They found the line. Necro. Okay. Necro is not Doomsday. It's very bad for me, but it's literally not Doomsday. And they can pay some amount of life here. Okay, they just slightly overdrew, went up to 8. Destroying Necro doesn't do anything for me. It actually hurts me at this point. Discarded Flusterstorm. Correctly identified that I don't play any spells. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. If I had attacked last turn, it would have been 7. Alright, that doesn't really change anything. I think I'm just going to attack for 1 with Frog. Take the 1. Found a Reanimate. I can take their Street Wraith, which is not nothing. Fortunately, no Grief in my graveyard. That's what I really want here. I could also lead on Null Rod. Alright, I'm going to play Underground Sea and Null Rod. See if they care about this. It just makes piles awkward, which I appreciate. Now, leave up Deathrite versus and Assassin's Trophy versus Reanimate Street Wraith. I don't think I'm reanimating a Street Wraith here. We're going to get Cruise, so that's definitely happening. Yeah, they left Wraith in the graveyard. 9 cards in hand. 8 cards in hand. A land that makes mana with Deathrite. If they Doomsday, they are like just dead. Unless they can go off through Null Rod on 0 mana. But Doomsday puts them to 4. They can't really make a pass pile here. Oh, they have Oracle in hand, but mana is such a gate because of the Null Rod. And Black Lotus is just fully in exile at this point. They can't even Doomsday it back into the deck. But they are holding Oracle, which means consult lines are live. It's a tight one. I also have 7 damage just on board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I actually have 8 on board because I get a draw step. They can't Necro. They have to win with the cards that are in their hand, or kill one of my creatures to buy a little extra breathing room. Okay, they're making moves. Something's happening. Gitaxian Probe. This is 1 new card at the expense of mana, leaving themselves dead on board. Guess they're hoping I don't see it, or I'm not willing to go in on it. Discarded a Misstep to Necro, gets exiled. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have Xaxes here. I am going for it. I'm not sure what Doomsday can do, typically. Add 0 mana to kill a black creature in the main deck. Cool. Alright, they were just hoping I didn't see it. But I did. Okay, playing against Doomsday, we've got an opposition agent in the board. I don't think Mindbreak Trap is good against Doomsday, but it's probably better than some cards I am playing, giving me literally anything to do here. And the Null Rod actually was big. I don't generally think of Doomsday as a Null Rod matchup. They even play their own Doomsdays in the sideboard for the real artifact combo decks, but that was actually a really important part of my overall lock. I don't think this matchup is about Atraxa at all. I think it is more likely that I draw an Atraxa that I can't use in any meaningful way, or I draw an Entomb but don't have Reanimate. This is way more about block pieces and applying pressure and disruption. I just have to decide which of these cards is now the worst one in my deck. Vamp Tutor's another line for Oppo. It's really slow though, but it is just a whole ass tutor in my deck that is generally pretty low power. I don't need my swamp versus this deck that's not going to attack my mana, and I don't think I have room for the third Null Rod. It's low impact. I just kind of wanted it because it was nice, and looking at my deck, I don't want to cut any of these other cards. It got squeezed. On the draw, of course, I have a turn 1 Null Rod, which turns off half my mana, which is some friction in the deck. I am going to keep this, though. I think in terms of hands that make extra mana, or I can do two things on turn 1. I could like Deathrite Shaman and Vamp Tutor for Grief, or Vamp Tutor for land. We'll see what I draw, and then I'll make decisions. Bottom, Preordain. We've seen that before. Oh, okay. Now I can Deathrite and Frog on turn 1. Emerald, land, Jet. I think I'd rather resolve Frog. Underground Sea, Psychic Frog. Like if they counter this, I can reanimate. Or no, I can't because that's the mana doesn't work. But if they had Daze, which I'm not even sure if the vintage build plays, honestly, but I'd rather resolve Frog here. Good chance we just die though, because this deck's insanely powerful. Okay, they're passing the turn. I'm gonna draw another Null Rod. Okay. I'm gonna attack with Psychic Frog and then see where we stand. They're fetching in response to my attack. Long goodbye. That's sad. I was going to Vamp Tutor for Oppo in response to the draw trigger, but now I guess we're just waiting. Okay, that's back. And I think I should Null Rod here. It sucks. It turns off half my mana, but it does slow down their combo as well. Mystical Tutor. All right, we're looking for Ancestral Recall. Straight Wraith. Ancestral. Loaded back up. Basic Island. I flinched on this fucking Deathrite Shaman and they got me with Treasure Cruise. I could have exiled that land and they don't have those 3 cards. That was a disaster, actually. Okay, well, shit. Okay, I'm still going to Vamp Tutor. See if they're going to fight over this. Okay, I don't think Oppo Agent is the solution anymore because I had 4 mana when I said that last turn. Now I have 1. I think it's just Ancestral Recall. It's Ancestral or Thoughtseize, and I think Ancestral's better. For a variety of reasons, too. It's not just it reloads me, but it also can be a kill con if they go for a Doomsday. I'm going to hit with Frog. This Null Rod's an easy discard, but I'm still going to keep it in hand for another moment or two. Okay, I could double up the Null Rod. Ancestral is a much better plan against Doomsday when you have your own Flusterstorms and stuff. I probably should have just Ancestraled myself there. I started getting too clever, and it's going to hurt me. Brainstorm. A Black Lotus that doesn't work at the moment, but we've seen answers to Null Rod. I think I was either supposed to play the second Null Rod or just Ancestral in my main phase and see where we landed. Thassa's Oracle. Okay. Well, we're going to get consulted here. Let's hope all the Force of Wills are in their deck. Demonic Consultation. We'll at least get a good look at the list. Okay, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 Force of Wills in the pile. Moment of Truth. Is Mental Misstep? Mental Misstep and 4 Force of Wills are all in exile right now. Gushing in response. All right, yeah, like a boss. You don't kill me, I kill me. Okay, holding the Ancestral turned out to be correct, just because of how their draw worked out. All right, unpunished. GG's, on to the next one.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 2 with a very exciting little hand. I'm going to keep this. This is Thoughtseize plus Deathrite Shaman on 1, and then Frog for the rest of the game. Frogging out. Let's hope this sequence is good against whatever they're playing. They kept 7. Moxjet Thoughtseize. What you got over there? No Luris revealed. All right, we're playing against Jewel. And oh my god. So they have turn 2 Coveted Jewel that I cannot currently interact with. I don't think I want them to have Time Walk in this hand. I could take one of the jewels and hope I can interact with the other one by the time we get there. That seems like a dream, though. All right, I'll take Time Walk. Horrifying. Right, Underground Sea, Deathrite Shaman, and hope to draw Null Rod like a boss. Or Wasteland. Null Rod or Wasteland. So I have kind of 5 outs here. There's the key and a shop. Come on, deck. Good hit. Thoughtseize. I mean, now I kind of wish I took the first jewel last turn, but we get what we get at this point. You can't know everything. I drew a Force of Will. Hey, what do my green cards do? Assassin's Trophy, actually reasonable. Yeah, I'll get Bayou and cast a Frog. And all in, Deathrite Shaman. You're not bluffing anything today, buddy. Get in there. Now they have a decision to make, which is, do they think the 3 cards off Jewel are worth losing their Jewel to my combat if they miss? And I think you just have to send it as the Jewel Shops player. Like, what does your deck even do if you don't cast Jewel here? It's Soul Ring. That still casts Jewel. But that means they now have 3 draws to convert. Their draw step was not helpful. All right, moment of truth. Fingers crossed. Please whiff. They just threw 3 Urza Sagas. I can feel it. Oh no, they spent mana. Boo. Okay. Well, now they're off. 3 Urza Sagas. I can feel it. Pass the turn. Pass the turn. And now they also have just 7 mana of whatever color they need. Manifold Key has untapped a Jewel that turns off Time Vault as an immediate concern. They have mana in their pool, though. It's bad for me. Sink into Stupor. My frog! And these are not the plays they wanted to make, which is pretty exciting to me. That wasn't Phyrexian Metamorph, and off we go. Reanimate, huh? Okay. Blue-black. I'm going to lead on Frog. They didn't even think about countering it. Okay. Well, my cards are back. Past the turn. That makes me think that they have Force but no blue card. They could have cast any spell in their deck that moment, and they didn't. So anything that happens right now came off the top. Paradox Engine. Okay. Oh no, more things are happening. Coveted Jewel. That was, had to be their draw for the turn. Like, Paradox Engine I could see not casting last turn compared to clearing the board. But they would have kept going last turn if they could have. But that also means those are 3 fresh cards. And we're back in this what we were last turn of hoping they whiff. I love the smell of copium in the air. Well, there's mana in the pool. I will concede to Paradox of Outcome. I'll just be done. Okay. Urza Saga. 14 mana in the pool. Mana Vault doesn't do anything here. They have Academy plus Force of Will, and then 3 unknowns in hand. They seem to be responding to Mana Vault by floating a bunch of mana. Black Lotus. Okay. You have 1 trillion mana. Literally 1 trillion mana. Natty Walking Ballista. Oh my god. They passed. Oh my god, what's going on here? I'm going to attack with both of my creatures. Want to make sure a bounce spell doesn't get them out of this. Holy smokes. Whiff, 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 whiff. All right, baby, let's go. Can I find a Null Rod in this pile? No, I cannot. Is this pile lethal all of a sudden? Because I have the Psychic Frog. Okay, what do we got? I can only deal 14 here, which is not enough. I can definitely put some counters on these frogs. I'm not using all these cards. Troll of Khazad-dûm can go in the graveyard. This Polluted Delta can go in the graveyard. I think the rest of these cards are all reasonable to hold on to. What does Mental Misstep do? They have Ancestral Recall in their deck. Manifold's Key and Soul Ring are already in play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I can cast enough spells here to make this worth it. Okay, and I get to draw another card. Another trophy. Okay, Thoughtseize you first. Let's start there, because we know there's a Force of Will in hand. See if we could flush it out with this. All right, it's Force of Will 3 lands. Wow. All right, all right, all right. Jewel Shop sucks. We are the best. That was perfectly normal. Underground Sea, I can go blue, 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 black, 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 and cast 3 Psychic Frogs. Frog, frog, frog. And then I can trophy the Saga. I think I want to do that in their draw step, though, in case they draw their 1 basic island. And I'm still holding up Bowmaster plus another trophy. No, I'm short either green or black. Maybe I could have tapped differently. Okay, stop in your draw step. Assassin's Trophy, the Saga. Green, black. I have another trophy in case they draw Time Vault, which is a card I would be concerned about. Wow, perfectly normal magic. Null Rod's coming in. Mindbreak Trap, Energy Flux. All these things come in. Misstep is not very good here. Dothy Voidwalker doesn't matter. My basic Swamp doesn't matter. I could also Pithing Needle the One Ring. That's just more answers. Pithing Needle the One Ring or Urza Saga or Time Vault. Alright, there are enough hits for that I'm going to at least think about it. This Atraxa in this build is pretty awkward because normally the lining in Atraxa of being a big stupid reanimate monster you don't want to draw is that she pitches to Force of Will and Force of Vigor, neither of which are in this deck. One of which by design, and the other, we could, but there's only 7 green cards to support a Force of Vigor. Yeah, I don't even think we want to do that. We have 3 Null Rods to do that. I could cut into Matraxa, which, once again, I'm kind of getting away from the part of the Scaminator and just enjoying the scamming. But once again, we're against a horrendously broken combo deck where our only job is to survive and then we'll win whatever's left. Yeah, I will do it like this. I could see arguments for Abrupt Decay as well if we want to cut off Time Vault, or if we think we need to mess with construct tokens. I'm going to keep this hand. The upside is very good. We might just die on turn 1, which is kind of the whole point of their deck. Soul Ring. This is 5 mana. Vexing Bauble. Okay. Wow, those basically don't affect my deck at all. And they would have been good against the Grief, but I have 2 Dark Rituals to just cast it. Okay, now it affects my deck. I have 5 mana here. I think I want to Grief first, and then I can decide if I want to Thoughtseize or Deathrite. I could also just DT for Null Rod. I could Thoughtseize DT Null Rod. No, that's better. Thoughtseize, take Transmute Artifact, DT, Null Rod, bang. Okay, here's this. We got a wow in the chat. Hell yeah, that was pretty impressive, wasn't it? Behold, I'm also a broken vintage deck in my own little way. Oh, they drew a real mana source. Mostly doesn't matter at the moment. These Griefs are just rotting until I get 4 mana, though. Mindbreak Trap, completely worthless here. Deathrite, you're up, buddy. You have to do 20. If they play a Pithing Needle, they could even tutor it out with Saga, name Deathrite, and that's that. Then it's attacking for 20. Saga is searching. Manifold Key is what they got. Mistress Workshop plus 1 unknown in hand. Wow, another mana source. That works. Okay. I got a long way to go here, but I am at least playing the game. Come on, Frog off the top. Blue to Delta. That gives me 1 mana away from Grief. And it is worth more damage for me to not attack with Deathrite this turn. I'm 1 mana away from Grief and 1 mana away from Hardcast Mindbreak Trap, both of which I'd be happy to represent. If they Masticore me right now, I'm going to freak out. 5 mana exactly. Oh my god, what's happening? Okay, that one's fine. Exile your Transmute Artifact, and the race is on. Okay, I can just cast Grief here. They don't have any cards in their hand, but it does make the clock a lot faster. Exiled the Saga, make black. I think it's better to get Grief down and attacking, and then I can hold up Hardcast Mindbreak Trap next turn. If they find a Masticore right now, they deserve it. For Monolith. Okay, cool. I actually feel like we're going to win. As of right now. Another Delta. That keeps the Deathrite awake. If they cast a spell I care about, which they might have like 3 or 4 total in their deck, I can Mindbreak Trap it. If they don't cast a spell, I'll start draining them with Deathrite. I got Dark Rituals, Demonic Tutors, all sorts of food here. Vamp Tutor, what's up? We're doing the thing. I'm not going to play another Grief. I'm going to just enjoy the comfort of a counterspell. Exile, Dark Ritual, and I'm going to Vamp Tutor. What do I even want? What matters here? I could get a backup Null Rod. I could get Orcish Bowmaster. Does that speed things up at all? 1, 2, ping. Alright, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That Bowmaster doesn't change the clock. I could just flux their head off. But their artifacts don't count anyway. They'd have to draw Academy for that to matter. And then I can counter the PO. They would need like Academy into PO. And maybe I just take Ancestral and... Oh no, it's fucking Time Walk is in my deck. All right. I'm taking Time Walk. I win. All right. We figured it out. Solved it. I'm going to see if Time Walk resolves before I do anything else. It might just scoop here. We got the GGs. Attack. And the idea of Vexing Bauble turning off fast mana, but then playing multiple Dark Rituals on turn 1 and doing 5 mana worth of shit. That was cool. Vexing Bauble's just chilling. And we are 2-0. Let's go. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the play for round 3, and we've run into one of the potential structural concerns of the deck, which is that Dark Ritual isn't castable off of all our mana sources and doesn't cast all our spells. I have to mulligan this hand. Meanwhile, this is going on. I will keep this, bottom 1 of the Deathrites, and I'm going to Dark Ritual Thoughtseize and decide what to do with the other 2 mana. I could also Dark Ritual Voidwalker then Thoughtseize if I'm trying to be greedy. I think it is more important to me that my second spell resolves and I know what's going on than putting something in the void. Unless they're actual dredge, where even in that case, I would rather check their hand for Force of Will before deploying the Voidwalker. Okay, a Force Lorien Manifold Key. I will take the Force of Will, or I guess I would take the Lorien Revealed, huh? Though if they cycle Lorien into my Voidwalker, that's busted for me. And if they're going to force Voidwalker, they get to do it regardless. Okay, that's answered. Their hand is 3 lands and a Manifold Key. No Lurrus revealed. Underground Sea, Manifold Key, Wasteland, Deathrite. I'm not going to waste them, though. This is almost certainly an Urza Saga deck. There's the Sea, Mox Emerald. Please don't play Time Vault right now. We dodged. Grief. Interesting. I can hard cast that next turn. I'm going to play this Deathrite and attack with Bowmaster. Do I attack? I'm not going to attack. I'm just going to hold. I guess I don't have Grief because... Or no, I do. 1, 2... Nope. I would need to... There would have to be a land in the graveyard somewhere, and a Wasteland lands into the graveyard would cost me a mana. I don't actually have Grief next turn without a little help. Island. 2 unknowns in hand. Paradoxical outcome for 2 things. Okay. Get it while you can. Emerald's back. And they didn't replay the key. Okay, that does it. Mox Sapphire. Exile a land from my graveyard. Make black. Grief you the hard way. Geralf the Fleshright. Holy smokes. Whenever you cast a spell during your turn other than your first spell that turn, create a 2/2 black zombie rogue. Whenever a zombie enters, put a +1 counter on it for each other zombie that entered under the battlefield you control this turn. Okay, so Geralf is the payoff here. I'm going to take that. That makes sense why they didn't replay the key. But why did they replay Mox Emerald then? That Geralf could have been for a good Jillian. And leaving them with PO doesn't make me feel great. I'm all in though. Here we go. Oh no, the Gataxi Probe into Braidstorm. Now everything's different. If they find like one other Mox, this PO becomes really good. This is definitely a deck where Null Rod's good though. I'm glad I have 3 of those. Null Rod, by the way, the mana issues with Dark Ritual is why I'm playing Null Rod and not Collect a Roof. You can't Dark Ritual into Collect a Roof. Okay, they're just getting paid on their 2 Moxen while they can. That redraws the 2 Brainstorm cards. Manifold Keys back. Come on, Null Rod off the top. Another Grief. There are not enough lands in the graveyard to make this work. Bummer. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, there are, because I have 2 Deathrite Shamans. That is actually how that works. Exile this. black, exile this, black. Sucks that my Urza Saga shield is down now. Okay, force pitching Lorien revealed. We got 2 cards off of the Grief instead of 1. They're either protecting something insane or the 3 damage would have been good enough. That they're worried enough about that. They have like Tinker or Time Vault. PO. Alright, +3. That's 3 of the 4 POs they play. All the Moxen coming back down. Manifold Key is back. Another Mox has joined them. Time Walk. Uh-oh. My Kingdom for Null Rod. Demonic Tutor. Alright, we're dead. I'll make them show me the Time Vault. I'm not going to be that vintage player who concedes immediately as soon as things look bad, but there is a deterministic win here. Alright, they found it. Alright. Games like that are the reason I tend to shy away from these, like, Hate Bear, tempo-y fair decks in Vintage, because I did a lot of good things that game, and then my opponent just won because they had a busted combo in their deck and I didn't. Okay, Null Rod, Abrupt Decay. Null Rod and Energy Flux are definitely happening. I think Mindbreak Trap is definitely happening. Abrupt Decay is in the 2nd tier. Oppo is in the 3rd tier. Pithing Needle, maybe Oppo's the 4th tier. I'm not going to end up with room for Oppo. Yeah, this Entomb Atraxa thing has not worked out once yet. Haven't needed the Swamp yet either. But we've played against 3 decks out of the same pillar. If we pair into like Lurrus Saga or Dredge, we're going to be glad we have the Atraxa. But for now, I guess Dredge could also be categorized as a busted combo deck where we don't have time for this. Maybe this is just wrong for the strategy. Interesting. I don't think Voidwalker is that necessary here. Decay can kill a Time Vault. I want to make sure I can still win the game is the issue. If I cut all my Voidwalkers and Atraxa, I have Frogs, 1 Bowmaster, and then Reanimating Grief Ritual. Seems like enough. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do this and not bring in the 2nd Decay. Or I could pivot a Trophy for a Decay. Trophy answers Saga, but so does Wasteland. Decay makes sure that Time Vault is gone. I'm going to go plus Decay minus Trophy. A little side grade. Okay, here we go. This hand is very slow. It's functionally a turn 2 Energy Flux if I get to turn 2. Because I could turn 2 Time Walk, bonus turn, Flux. I can't even cast my Frogs. I think I'm going to keep this. This is a lot of power and a powerful sideboard card. And I'm going to lead on Verdant Catacombs. Leading on Wasteland could discourage them from playing an Urza Saga. But I don't think the value of that is higher than surprising them with a Wasteland. We also might get turn 1 here. Pearl. Pearl and pass. Underground Sea. Okay, now I can cast Frog. Would I rather do that? That might sniff out interaction. And I'd rather Time Walk with Frog in play. Okay, I'm playing Psychic Frog. They are responding somehow. Underground Sea. Ancestral Recall. Frog's in. Goodbye to my Frog. Disappointing. Okay. Now what do I want to do? I can go Wasteland, Time Walk, Wasteland, put them to no permanence. I think I'm going to Wasteland the untapped Underground Sea, and then play a new Frog. And let's just play that turn cycle over again. It's basically all the same decisions made by me, and we have all the same resources and cards in play going into their turn. Island. Demonic Tutor. Okay. They've already Ancestraled. Are they going to get like Black Lotus and dump out a bunch of cards here? Are they going to try to set up Time Vault for next turn? What do we got? They could wish or get like another Long Goodbye. Well, they have black mana. They either just went for black or went for the black removal spell. End step Dress Down. Okay. That's pretty good. Oh, wow. How do I want to handle this? If I just cast Energy Flux, that's kind of a must force. I could Time Walk into draw a card with Psychic Frog plus Null Rod, with the Flux still in hand. If I Time Walk, I might not use all my mana. If I Time Walk, I would probably Wasteland. Okay, I'm going to see if Time Walk resolves. It did not. Okay. In that case, I'm going to Wasteland them again. Still worried about Urza Saga, but they seem to be treading water, and Energy Flux is crazy against Urza Saga. I don't get to draw a card here. That Force Pitch Scroll. Flaring Academy, disappointing. PO for 2. See if they can get off the ground here. Jet, Pearl, 3 mana available. If they do anything to interact with Psychic Frog, like that Dress Down, that's mana they don't have to counter Flux. Oh, Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize Null Rod. That's the line. I'm going to attack first. Attack. Thoughtseize you off of my green land. Mental Misstep. Get another Underground Sea, shove the Null Rod. Hope they're out of stuff to do. But if they have their negation still in, then their forces are definitely there too. Force pitching force. All right. Literally millions of forces in their deck. They got 2 cards over there. And I still have a very potent sideboard card in my hand. Repeal my frog. Sad. Urza Saga. There it is. It's been waiting this whole time. Okay, 2 cards in hand over there. Oh my god. Well, I'll try to flux their day up. I'm keeping back the Null Rod because a land lets me double spell next turn. Right, Brainstorm in response. Emergency Brainstorm. Academy does half mitigate energy flux temporarily. It's not a winning long-term spot, but if they can win immediately, it doesn't matter. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they could just pay for all of them, leave up Saga. The Null Rod is the second piece of this puzzle, and they clearly did not have a counterspell last turn. Mana Crypt. That works. Karn the Great Creator. Okay. What are we doing with that? I don't really have any artifacts to boop. There's 4 bad draws in my deck now. Wishing for Sensei's Top. Okay. The Null Rod will punish that. Come on, land. That was a great draw. Okay, blue-black. I'm going to start with Psychic Frog because they know that's in my hand. And then Shablamo. I'm going to have to pay for this Null Rod every turn, but it's worth it. Okay, you're up. Sensei's Top that doesn't work in hand and also costs 2 mana to keep. Mana Crypt, slowly killing you. That's the first thing you don't pay for. Yeah, let's go. That was cool. Okay, we've seen Karn. They're just a blue-black PO deck of sorts. Kind of want this other trophy in my deck, just more interaction for their stuff. We've seen Karn, we've seen Academy, we've seen Saga. This kills all those. I could back off of Dark Ritual, as it's a pretty bad top deck. It's good on turn 1, and like maybe turn 2, and then it gets really bad. I think I still need all of my artifact mana to get to a spot where I turn off my own artifact mana. It sucks that you're playing both a bunch of Moxen and 3 Null Rods, but the way that you get Null Rod into play is with Moxen. I like this. This is the first grief scam we've been able to look at. Let's see if I'm just dead before it matters. Island Mox, Soul Ring. This is Tinker mana. Time Walk. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Vintage doing vintage things here. They could send a PO for 2 with what they have. If they have another artifact, they could go a little higher. They now have 4 mana to Vault Key activate. All right, Karn before I have any cards in play is a tough beat. And they just plussed him this time. Good call. I drew a land. I'm going to Grief Exiling Thoughtseize. Grief you. 2 forces and a Dress Down. I guess I'll take the Dress Down. And they're going to force the Reanimate. That's going to happen anyway. Might as well get 2 cards instead of 1. They're not going to force Thoughtseize. They are going to force Reanimate. Or they can let me have Grief. That's fine too. I'll take a Force of Will. Let's see what 1 card killers Karn has access to here. They drew Merchant Scroll. Yikes. That guarantees a blue card for Force. Though I can also Thoughtseize them and take whatever they wish for here, because they won't be able to cast it. And Karn also making a wish. You're going to get the Coding. Is that what vintage decks do? Or did they get like Sphere of Resistance here and try to squeeze me out? Sensei's Top. Alright, that's fine. What they probably want to do is spin a blue card to the top of their deck so they could flip it and force if they need to. Or else I'm going to Thoughtseize this Ancestral Recall. Oh, they're flipping their top now. What does that mean? Mox and Ancestral? Yeah, literally Mox Sapphire. There it is. Okay. Well, you got your Ancestral off. And found a Saga. Okay. Now I have a good target for Wasteland. Still going to Thoughtseize them. Attack Karn. Work my way through this, I guess. Thoughtseize you. You know, there's at least a Force of Will over there. There's exactly a Force of Will over there. Attack Karn. Wasteland Saga. Okay. I am at something resembling stability, but they obviously have way more resources than me, and the Sensei's Top is really going to break it for them. If I draw Dark Ritual, I can Demonic Tutor for Null Rod. They flip their top. 2 good cards in hand right now. Geralf, which makes an extra creature. Gitaxi Probe and top makes 2 extra creatures. We're so fucked. Okay, I can't beat this. I'm going to take a draw step, but I am certainly dead. The functional turn 1 card, the Great Creator, off of 4 stable mana sources is a lot to overcome from a deck like mine. I think we win this game easily on the play, though. Just putting that out there for anyone who wants to consume it. Yeah, finding Mox Sapphire to cast the Ancestral, getting the Geralf and multiple spells. I think it's just about over. That can attack and fly and stuff. All right, I guess I can't concede. Psychic Frog, get in. They can make a wish with Karn this turn, but Karn dies. There's the top. They can flip their tops back and forth and make like X creatures with Geralf, where X is their mana. That's a cool combo. All right, go off. Have fun. Yeah, I have no Toxic Deluge or anything that could come back from this. No combo kill of my own. Attracts us out of the deck. All right, cool. All right, yeah, sweet. A good game. Got properly vintaged. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round 4 with Agree Scam. I don't have my second land, but it's fine. I'm going to keep this. This is disruptive enough that I'm going to rock with it. I have to decide if I'm going to pitch Assassin's Trophy or Demonic Tutor to Grief, though. I want Thoughtseize in case I don't draw a land. I want to be able to do something on turn 2. Or if their hand is just insane. I guess Reanimate is another Thoughtseize, so I'm just saying nothing right now. Never mind. My mana's already accounted for on turn 1. It's, do I think I'm going to have time to Demonic Tutor for a good spell and then also cast that good spell? Or versus answer something with a mana that is my splash color when I'm already hurting for mana. I'm going to pitch the Trophy. Demonic Tutor is just really good, and it gets Ancestral Recall if we get to that point. Opponent kept 7. Let's see what they're got. Okay, it looks like we've got some shops in the chat, which is horrible for me because they have Wasteland and Tabernacle in their opening hand. I'm going to take Crucible, and I guess I have to fetch Basic Swamp here. Basic Swamp, Reanimate. I've boarded out Basic Swamp every round. I won't be doing that this time. I'm going to take this. I'm actually going to take Golos. The patches is kind of whatever. If that Golos comes down, it's over. Which would happen. I guess they would have to draw exactly the Mana Crypt to make that happen. With my Thoughtseize following up. I don't know, that Tabernacle's so messed up, though. That's going to be really hard to beat. But if they have patches O'Houlihan in play, Tabernacle taxes them as well. They went with the shop into the patchwork after some amount of thinking. Okay. I'm going to Thoughtseize them and hope they drew a spell. Because this might be the last spell I cast this game. Alright, we got a second patches out. And now it's Saga, Wasteland, Tabernacle in their hand. Ruby makes patchwork bigger. I'm on a 6-turn clock. Ooh, this Bayou just gets Wastelanded. But if the Bayou gets Wastelanded, alright, that's fine. That means they're not deploying Urza Saga. There's Wasteland. That's gone. Oh no, a spell. Vexing Bauble. Now their creature's bigger than mine. Now I'm actually losing the race. Psychic Frog immediately flips it if I draw another land, though. But I guess I have to pay for Grief in the meantime. Attack with Grief. You got to pay for that. I can play Frog, which will be 3/4. All right. Well, they drew a spell every turn, and being reanimated out is going to cost me. And the Mana Vault can actually activate the Saga too, which is really tough. Okay, like we knew keeping this one lander was going to be an issue in some ways. Can I win this game if I keep Grief? I think ripping another land is my only way out of this. So I am going to keep Grief. I'm going to hope to draw a land. All right, we're just dead. I can block once. All right, I can block once and then cast Frog the next turn. And by then I'll have more cards in my hand. Okay. There's a chance. Oh no, just keep drawing spells. All right, and Crucible of Worlds too. Okay. I think if my opponent draws like one land that game, maybe we're still playing, but we're definitely behind as soon as we saw the Tabernacle in the opener. Okay, you might think Null Rod is good against shops, but it's mostly not. Their artifacts don't activate other than their mana artifacts, and I have other ways to contend with the things that come out of the mana, like Energy Flux. Finally, we have a spot where Entomb and Atraxa are actually desirable. I believe I want these removal spells in. I don't need Mental Misstep. Dauthi Voidwalker and Orcish Bowmaster are both mid. I think Bowmaster is worse than Voidwalker, though. This deck doesn't really draw cards, and their creatures are huge. They do use their graveyard a little bit for Crucible of Worlds. I could Pithing Needle Wasteland, or I could just play through it. Deathrite Shaman is really good at that. Dismember is a card I could bring in. That kills Golos. I think I'm going to keep it light like this and focus on just mulling hands that have 1 mana now that I know what I'm up against. This hand has a lot of mana, but does it actually do anything? I'm going to mulligan this, unfortunately. Is that the first appearance of Black Lotus in the league? Okay, we got 2 Black Lotuses. All right, I'm keeping this hand. I could go Black Lotus, Psychic Frog, Time Walk, and also Grief them. That leaves me in the spot where I'm digging for mana. I could bottom the Grief. Like Grief versus Energy Flux is my decision here. Grief, Energy Flux, Reanimate are the cards that could go to the bottom. I could pitch Frog to Grief, Reanimate it, and then play Energy Flux. Maybe that's the best thing I could be doing. If I did that, I would be bottoming Time Walk. Which is not ideal, but it is a sequence that makes a lot of sense. Versus just getting Psychic Frog into play, drawing some cards, seeing where it goes. And it might go nowhere. Yeah, this is really hard. I wish this was 7 cards so bad. It's a good 7. It's a very hard 6. Yeah, I think I'm going to bottom the Time Walk and do the Grief Scam plus Energy Flux thing. Grief, exile Psychic Frog. You've got Sphere of Resistance, Black Lotus, multiple Vexing Baubles. Okay, I'll take the Black Lotus first and fetch Basic Swamp, Reanimate. The Baubles can be cycled, and I don't care about Sphere of Resistance because I don't think they'll be able to afford to cast it. What I could do is take a Bauble, play the Lotus, don't play the Flux, let them dump out their shit and just smear it next turn, and I could pay the 1 extra. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to get them on a hook for something they can't pay for. Vault, Bauble, Sphere. All right, we got them on the hook for even an extra card they can't pay for. Deathrite Shaman is a good draw. Attack for 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shiplui. Goodbye, all your cards. They could draw a card with Bauble on the way out, and then lose all their other permanents. They don't take 1 from Mana Vault because it died in their upkeep. Unfortunate. Ancient Tomb. Vexing Bauble. Probably going to sack it immediately. Yep. Just moving cards around. Doing what you got to do. Attack for 3. Play Deathrite Shaman. Okay. Moment of truth. What's going to happen here? They are making a construct that will cost Flux mana next turn. I have gotten a lot of value this league over not having Force of Will, but all of my opponents playing like I do. Like, opponents have to slow their roll a little bit versus open mana out of a blue deck. and like all these Vexing Baubles I've played against that I don't care about at all. And I'm not going to attack. They have Grief Beat in combat. Got a bunch of stuff to pay for. They got a Crypt to flip. They can't pay for both creatures forever. Their hand right now is Mishra's Workshop, no other cards. They lost the flip. That helps. Crypt and Ring can pay for themselves, and then they have to decide which of these things they want to keep, and if it's worth 2 life to do it. Deathrite Shaman only has 1 instant or sorcery to eat in the graveyard because my opponent doesn't contribute those to the game. There's a couple of lands, though. It looks like they're letting Crypt die. Okay, they can pay 2 life to make a construct, which does block Grief. Sphere of Resistance doesn't matter. They can't... Oh, okay, I was about to say they can't attack, but clearly I'm wrong. End step, exile, reanimate. That is a instant or sorcery spell. This attack means they can't activate Urza's Saga. That attack does not seem very good. I don't know if they were going to win anyway, but they definitely can't win now that they attacked. Exile your Saga. I'm going to play Psychic Frog. Cool. All right. Game 3, on the draw. We know about Vexing Bauble now, which makes these 8 cards in my deck worse. Orcish Bowmaster can block a Nettle Cyst and a Construct token for a long time. I don't think that's really how I want to play the game, though. Yeah, I think the cards I put in the first time are still the correct cards. It's just if they can come up in the right order. And Sphere of Resistance is not a combo with Vexing Bauble. If my cards cost 1, my zeros cost 1, then I've spent mana on them. I like this hand. Opponent needs to sphere me, or they're going to be facing down a troll. Patches O'Houlihan. And they do have the sphere. Okay. That is hyper effective against my start here. I would have certainly preferred to play against Vexing Bauble. 3 cards in their hand. Functionally 2 mana available, and only for artifacts. Okay, never mind. They have a lot of mana. Just simple play draw versus shops here. Welcome to Vintage. Second sphere. Yeah, we are unlikely to win this game. I'm not going to cycle this troll because it costs 3 to reanimate it anyway. I can Grief here. I don't think I have time for a Vampiric Tutor this game. The Vampiric Tutor is the card I could draw that, or the thing I could do that really just flips this and kills their shit. Troll of Khazad-dûm does that too, though. I will take this Golos. Their hand is Crucible of Worlds. I did just lose the ability to cycle Troll and reanimate it this turn, which means I'm going to be at 10 before that can happen. Oh, come on! We just saw your hand! Now I can never win. Alright. Sick rip. But being on the draw versus this start, like if they had Vexing Bauble to start, I just troll them. If I'm on the play, I troll them. Multiple spheres into Crucible Wasteland Lock. GG. On to the final round.
We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league.
I'm on the draw in the final round with way too many Griefs in my hand and nothing to really do with them. Yeah, I'm going to mulligan this. I don't think this hand actually functions in any kind of way. It does take up to 2 cards from my opponent's hand and leave Grief in the graveyard where I can reanimate it later. It time walks on turn 1. I could Grief them, time walk, upkeep Vamp Ancestral. Never mind. I found a line. I'll keep the hand. Basic Plains. Vexing Bauble. That makes my entire life shit. I've talked about Vexing Bauble not lining up well against my deck so far. It just found a place where it's really good. Witch Meadow, zapped it in. Chalice of the Void. Holy smokes. This is horrible for me. Okay, I'm going to get a Underground Sea and cycle Troll of Khazad-dûm. My plan to vamp for reanimating my upkeep, no longer live. I think I just want to pile up Underground Seas. They're going to be a Wasteland deck, though. Assassin's Trophy does get me out of Chalice. Alright, I'll get Bayou. Orcish Bowmaster, suddenly a card that isn't completely blank. I'm not going to time walk here. If they introduce the initiative and I can Bowmaster, take the initiative, time walk, have a turn with it, that's a game I can play. Null Rod. Alright, fine. Finally a card that isn't great against me. Also, this entire game brought to you by the die roll. Voidwalker, let's go. I'm just going to keep piling homies into play. The more creatures I have in play when I time walk, the better. They did miss a land drop, though. That's big news. Tabernacle, Jesus. All right, so we are a prison white deck, not initiative. Certainly not initiative at all, actually. Okay, I am going to pay for Voidwalker. I am not going to pay for Orc Army. And I will pay for Bowmaster to keep the pressure up. I don't even know if I'm drawing a land or not to cast Time Walk with, so let's just attack for 4 until they die. Crucible of Worlds, okay. Nothing to recur with that. They're dead in a few hits here. Pay for my creatures. Land, phenomenal draw. That means I can Time Walk next turn. Okay, so they're actually dead on board, but they don't know it. I guess that's what on board means. They are dead to the secret spell in my hand, which is just Magic the Gathering, which is a completely different thing than being dead on board, and I don't know why I said that at all. Wow, okay. They cast a 1-mana spell that knocked 4 cards out of my hand and then just died. I like that. Energy Flux in, Null Rod out, Abrupt Decay in, Mental Misstep out. Bowmaster does not seem good here. It did show up that game and apply pressure, but that doesn't mean it's good. Okay, I have extra answers to prisony shit, and off we go. I'm going to keep risky versus certain prison elements, and I don't care at all about others. Well, that's the best one no matter what. Hope to hit some land drops. Go. I'm never going to mulligan a hand around Trinisphere, just for the record. It's a restricted card. It costs 3 mana. Oh, hell yeah. Solemn Simulacrum. I love what their deck's doing. Yeah, this hand that I kept had lines around Bauble with Dark Ritual and lines around Chalice with Lotus. Okay, looks like we're just dead. I'll go to game 3. We don't need to watch the paint dry here versus the Urza Saga. And now I get to be on the play where everything's easy. Hit submit. Oh no, Atraxas in my hand. How close am I to casting this? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could cast Atraxa at turn 3. But by then she might cost more than 7. I'm going to mulligan. 3, 4, 5. It's a turn 2 troll. Yeah, this just isn't good enough. Okay. This hand is very good. So we have 3, 4, 5. I can turn 1 Voidwalker plus Flux. I lose all my Moxen on turn 2, but we could just white knuckle it from there. I could also just Dark Ritual out. Influx just might cost more. Next turn is the problem. I could Dark Ritual out Dauthi Voidwalker plus cast Vamp Tutor and switch the Mox for just an island of some variety. Just put Underground Sea on top of my deck and try to be more stable post-Flux. No, we ball. I'm going to put Vampiric Tutor on the bottom because I can even answer a Tabernacle with the Wasteland. I could also see what their lock piece is and then decide if I'm going to cast Energy Flux. That's probably the safer thing to do. The less batshit insane thing to do. Dark Ritual, Voidwalker, Wasteland, Sapphire. Yeah, I'll just pass. If I die with an uncastable Energy Flux in my hand, I deserve this. But I think this is a better setup. Just gives me a chance to do something like draw and cast Psychic Frog. Reanimate. Okay, this actually rules, so I can... They should have waited for me to attack. Because that fizzles, then I can reanimate it. Just a slight timing mistake there. If they did that on their turn, or in combat, or second main at any point, that wouldn't have been possible. Solemn Simulacrum. Here's this frickin' guy. I'm a huge fan of seeing. Alright, can I draw a land? Entomb after I just used my Reanimate. Life is pain. Alright, take 3. I think I Wasteland here too. Shop is just too good. Saga's really good too, but I'd rather them not have 5 mana if I could avoid it. Played around the Wasteland by not having any lands. Got him. I am going to Entomb Atraxa in the end step. Just get a bad draw out of my deck and turn 3 medium draws into insane draws. Entomb Atraxa. Another Flux. Boy, do I hate having permanents. The Flux would have been terrible if I cast it turn 1, though, the way this game has played out. Containment Priest. Okay, they had me covered. We're just racing. Psychic Frog, best draw. They are winning the race right now. I'm on a 4-turn clock. They're on a 5, and they attacked first. This looks bad, team. They're starting to get stable. None of their shit's even artifacts. Oh my god. These energy fluxes that would have easily won game 1 or 2, now looking horrendous in my hand. I wish they were anything else. A swamp. Perfect. Just what I needed. More black mana. My creature can't even block, so all I can do is attack. I'm on a 2-turn clock at this point. I get one more draw step this game. I don't even think I have any good cards in my deck that could help here. Certainly not that uncastable. And Mishra's Workshop doesn't help me cast anything. Okay. Tough spin at the end there. Okay, a 2-3 record after starting out 2-0, and then 0-3 in the back end. Oh, I would have thought... So this is actually pretty interesting and worth talking about as far as the structure of this deck and their place in the metagame. I would have thought that we would be run over by fast combo decks and then be pretty solid versus fair decks. But it turns out, kind of, that the fair decks are built to play that game anyway. And the combo decks, if they are susceptible to something like a Null Rod or a Dothy Voidwalker, they can just collapse. Or if they're playing careful because they think I have Force Will in my deck and I don't, and then they get got by discard instead. Those are all ways that those can go my way. Where the shop decks are just kind of built to have 6/6s in their deck anyway, and those are now bigger than my Grief and bigger than my Psychic Frog and everything. I'm also built to be the one denying mana, so if my mana gets denied, I'm suddenly not doing well. I think that game 3 of the last round, if my hand was like just a fetch land instead of one of those 2 Moxen, it's significantly better. Also, perfect 2020 hindsight, I should have, if I had known that the game would play out with 0 lock pieces and just a bunch of white cards, I would have bottomed Energy Flux and turn 1 vamped for something like Psychic Frog or Ancestral Recall. The Entomb package in this deck is either not good at all or not built correctly in the shell. I thought I could get away with the bare minimum, just having a couple of tutors, some discard outlets. If it shows up, it's cool. If it doesn't, it's fine. But we mulliganed multiple hands that had Atraxa in them, and we never actually had a look at reanimating Atraxa. So the shell, that package is not built correctly. We need either more Entombs or just don't do it. And I'm kind of leaning towards just don't do it. Open up 2 slots in the deck for, I don't know, more Bowmasters, another removal spell of some kind, the 4th Voidwalker, the 3rd Troll. These are all things we could do. This was a lot of fun to explore, though. I love discard spells. I love a Thoughtseize. I love a Dark Ritual. I'm a Pox fan myself. I appreciate Steven's approach to the game. Hopefully this was fun for everyone to watch. Steven, thank you for sharing this playstyle with us. I hope you like the deck I built. Everyone else, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.